What is going on, guys? Money Webby here, back again on Sunday with my favorite DraftKings picks for the day. Uploading this video Saturday night because we have an earlier tip-off here on the Sunday slate, tipping off at 6 p.m. So I wanted to get this out a little bit earlier for you guys, and we have some great news. We hit 4,000 subscribers, 4,000 strong in the Money Mob, so that means I'll be hosting that tournament for you guys on Monday for that main slate. Adding my own money into the prize, so you up the ante a little bit there. I'll probably make it like a $5 buy-in. Have like 200. We'll see if we can try to get like 200 people in the tournament. Then I'll add kind of some money to the top, whatever. I might do like maybe like the top 5, get some money, and I'll sprinkle some money onto the top or that or something like that. But definitely go follow me on Twitter at MoneyWebby if you want to be a part of that tournament. I'll be tweeting out the link and all the good stuff like that, announcing the tournament, stuff like that. So definitely follow me there at MoneyWebby if you haven't already. But before we get going, we had a solid night last night. 3 of my plays specifically returned a lot of value. First off, DJ Augustine getting 40 DraftKings points at only $5,300, returning a ton of value there. Alex Len as well at only $4,500. Played very well off the bench for the Suns. They turned to him a little bit more, getting 32 DraftKings points. I was looking like it was going to be even a bigger night for him. He was going off in the first half, but my big guy of the night, Aaron Gordon, dropping 64 DraftKings points. Huge night for him. Mentioned I love the spot against the Suns. Absolutely went berserk. But our stud of the night, James Harden, only 47 DraftKings points. He was doing pretty well, except the turnovers, but he was hitting some good shots and filling it up. But that game just got ugly quick. The Pelicans looked like they were still a little bit tired from their back-to-back-to-back stint there, so they played very bad. And the Rockets blew them out without the Rockets not even playing that well, honestly. So they got up 20, and James Harden didn't play in the fourth quarter. Probably would have got up to, like, honestly, probably could have got a triple-double in that game if it was closer. Disappointing there, but the plays overall were very solid. So good night there. Drop a like in the video if you ran out any of those guys, especially like DJ Augustine and Aaron Gordon. Let's try to get 100+ likes. Thank you so much. This shows some support to the channel. I appreciate it, and definitely subscribe if you want to be a part of that giveaway as well. We're going to keep on going. We got MLB coming up with my favorite DraftKings picks every single day, so subscribe if you want to get those. But let's just get into it. I'm going to kick it off here with Trey Burke at the top. Cheaper option, can return some good value. Maybe more of a GPP option because this Knicks coach, like, he's the most unpredictable guy in the world, I guess. Like, I always try to figure out who he's going to go with minutes. The other night I was trying to figure out if he was going to go with, I think, Troy Williams off the bench. Because I thought they were gonna lose to the Heat by like 30, and did losing by 30. But he kept the starters in when they were down 20. So that guy is an absolute train wreck. But it seems like last game he finally got the right idea, going to these younger guards more in that game. Trey Burke 31 minutes, and then Frank Ntilikina got like 35 minutes or something like that. So I think that's gonna be a trend going forward the rest of the year. At least I hope so. So it should be a good spot for him against Washington. He did play for Washington last year. Few minutes here and there. I guess a little bit of a narrative there. So I think he'll have a little chip on his shoulder in this matchup. Like I said, he's been very good when he's been getting the minutes this year. 31 minutes last game, got 34 DraftKings points. He's been hot, it seems like, every single game when he gets the opportunity, and he's a solid passer. You can get some assists as well, so you can fill it up in multiple categories. And I think this game will stay fairly close. The Wizards aren't kind of a team that can blow someone out, really, unless Bradley Beal just actually gets on fire. So I think the Knicks can keep it within striking range. The Knicks got up like 20 points against this Washington team last game they played, and then the Wizards came rolling back. So the Trey Burke and the Knicks, good game here, good spot for Trey Burke. He started the second half last game, so I could definitely see him starting this game. So I think he's going to be good for around 25 to 30+ DraftKings points. So lock him in there as my first guy, cheap option. Then we're going to go with Bradley Beal. Like I mentioned, I think he'll be able to do some great things against this New York team in this game. He's played very well against them in 2 games this year, 55 DraftKings points. Like I mentioned, with Frank Ntilikina at that shooting guard, and their shooting guard position, kind of one of the weakest spots they have defensively. I think Bradley Beal can definitely attack them there. Drive to the hoop, get some good-looking shots from 3. Knicks kind of struggling and lacking thereof with the perimeter defense, allowing 37% from the three-point line, and Bradley Beal, a much better shooter for the most part, at least from the three-point line. at home, averaging 40 DraftKings points per game here. So like I said, as long as this game stays close, I think Bradley Beal will be good for 40-plus DraftKings points. And he hasn't had that huge game since that Boston game, but that one to double OT. He hasn't had that monster game in a normal game since like that Miami game where he got 49 DraftKings points all the way back March 6th. So I think this is a spot for him to really get it going here, get that stroke fallen. He did pretty well against Denver shooting, but this is more of a better spot for him and a little bit more of an up-tempo game, less defense here, so lock him in there. And for my third guy, Paul George, another guy I think that is just in a good spot in OKC in general. It seems like they turn to him a little bit more in this game against Portland. Some more shots going up. Hasn't been able to get that many DraftKings points, but he's starting to get some more rebounds for whatever reason, and the DraftKings totals have came with them. He doesn't even need to put that many points on the board, honestly, because he's so active with the steals, getting some more rebounds, and he can get some assists as well. I think this is a game, though, where he'll start to drop some more points, around like 25 points, because Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, those guard plays, players, they've been very good defensively this year, and they give Russell Westbrook some trouble there scoring the ball. So Paul George, he'll be a little bit more active with the ball. The best place to attack this defense for Portland is at that small forward position. We've seen with Kevin Durant, like I mentioned, LeBron went off against them. Marcus Morris caught fire against them the other night. So I think Paul George will have a good night here, started scoring a little bit more, and like I said, he's very active defensively, can get some good rebounds here and get over 40 DraftKings points, and a nice price tag at 7,700 in a game that should stay competitive. Don't see this game becoming a blowout. I think the spread's like 3 points, and it should be a good one. So Paul George, lock him in there. It's another mid-range guy. We're kind of going balanced with these plays, but for my fourth guy, DeAndre Jordan here at 8,000, going against Toronto. When you think of Toronto, you don't really think of like centers being the way to attack them. Like, you kind of think they're going to be a stingy defense everywhere. But Toronto, their one weakness in the numbers has been against centers. As you saw that they're 28th ranked on DraftKings against centers. DeAndre Jordan had a very good game against them earlier this year, dropping 48 DraftKings points. So it's definitely the best spot you can attack them, honestly. They're very good on the wings, and the guard play is very solid defensively. So I think they'll be giving us like some more alley-oops and just some more passes down low to DeAndre Jordan. Jonas Valanciunas, he's like an okay defender, not a guy that really can hang with DeAndre Jordan for a full game, and he only gets like 20 minutes recently, and a guy that can get in foul trouble. So DeAndre Jordan is going to be playing with the backups at some point in this game because he's getting 30-plus minutes, and I think he can manhandle those guys on the offensive glass and have a huge double-double again in this game. I can see around like 15 and 20 and maybe some possible assists and blocks and stuff like that for Jordan this game. So I'm going to lock him in there at 8,000. Definitely a good spot for him. And my fifth and final guy, CJ McCollum, similar to Paul George on the other side of the end. You got some good defenders on this OKC defense, but McCollum, for the most part, shouldn't be dealing with Paul George that much. I mean, they could switch Paul George onto him this game, but McCollum, based on the matchups just on paper, he'll be matched up with against Corey Brewer, and shooting guards have been doing the best by far against this OKC defense the whole entire year, and you can definitely see that with the numbers. For CJ McCollum, he's been shooting lights out against his team in 3 games. 51% from the field, 40% from 3, averaging 41 DraftKings points in 3 games. So not a bad sample. Like, it's not just a one-game, huge game out of McCollum. He's been doing it consistently against his team. So I think this is another spot for him to get it done against his team, coming off a huge game against Boston. 44 DraftKings points. So I think he'll have another big game here. Like I mentioned, Russell Westbrook can definitely keep up with Damian Lillard. Kind of similar athletic point guards. So those two kind of could hurt each other on the defensive end and free things up for the second guy, the two Robins of the team, CJ McCollum and Paul George. So lock him in there. Another guy at a nice price tag at 6,800. But that's the top 5. You got Trey Burke, Bradley Beal, Paul George, DeAndre Jordan, and CJ McCollum. Definitely some great plays there. Balanced throughout in the plays. And all of those guys could honestly hit 40-plus DraftKings points. Maybe not Trey Burke, but the other 4 can definitely do it. So I like those guys a lot. But for my lottery pick, the cheap guy of the night, Nene, is going to be an option I'm looking at 3,000. The news came out recently, like maybe an hour ago, that Ryan Anderson won't be playing this game. He'll be resting on the back-to-back for Houston, and Nene is going to be playing here tonight. So hasn't played since the 15th. What was that, like a week ago? So, yeah, like 10 days ago by tomorrow. So he's going to be rested up for this game against Atlanta. It should be a barn burner, meaning that Atlanta will be down probably pretty big in this game. And then the Nene will get some nice garbage time minutes off the bench. And he'll be that go-to guy off the bench. Clint Capella, he's on the back-to-back as well. So maybe they'll try to rest him a little bit more. And Nene, in a similar game here, did very well against Atlanta. 16 minutes. That's pretty much like his peak. Around 15 to 20 minutes is the most he'll see. But if 20 minutes against the Atlanta Hawks for a big man, you'll take that day in, day out, especially at the price of $3,000. Like, the Nene is no slouch either. He's very good in the offensive end. So I think he can put up some numbers here similar to what he did against Atlanta in this game. On at $3,000, for him to return 5 times value, all he needs is 15 DraftKings points. And I honestly think he can approach 20 DraftKings points in this game. But just the Rockets bench in general, like I'll mention in a quick second. But Nene, let's lock him in first. But the Rockets bench in general is definitely something you can target here tonight, because Houston should get up pretty big here. Gerald Green, wish his price was a little bit cheaper, but $4,500 can definitely get it done. But if Joe Johnson, he's kind of an older guy, 36 years old, he might not play in the back-to-back. And if he is out, then Gerald Green will become a great value at $4,500. But if Joe Johnson does play at $3,800 on the bench for this Houston team, I mentioned him yesterday, he's a great value at $3,800. You get some savings off Gerald Green, but it is a back-to-back. Not sure at the moment if he is playing. But that is it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Drop a like on the video if you did. Let's try to keep the fire rolling here. We got MLB season coming back soon. We won't have to deal with any tanking teams at the beginning of the year for MLB and throughout the whole entire year. So much better there. Can't wait for that one. Subscribe if you haven't already. You can turn notifications on with the little bell icon to get alerted every time I upload these videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I wish you guys the best of luck. Let's have another good night here. Sunday, tip off at 6 p.m. Follow me on Twitter, like I mentioned, at MoneyWebby for information on that tournament I'll be hosting and stuff like that. And any updates on these plays. It is only 12 a.m. here on Sunday, so a lot can change between now and 6 p.m. So at MoneyWebby. Good luck tonight, guys, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow.